Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart, and this time I want to talk about free updates that should come to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now that the Booster Course Pass is happening. It's actually happening. We just got the first set of Grand Prix. We'll talk a little bit about those, but what I really want to focus on today are different things that they could do for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that could help to modernize it a little bit. And I think that kind of makes sense right now because since we're all going back to Mario Kart 8, a game that came out back in 2014, there are some things that certainly haven't aged as well, and there are certainly some things that they could do that wouldn't be substantial, huge changes that would require a huge development team that would actually benefit the game and make the experience more fun and probably would be free updates. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now before we jump to things, let me first very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. It is linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe or perhaps even consider joining as a member. So after having played through the first two Grand Prix of the Booster Course Pass, I'm actually enjoying them quite a bit. Are there a few things here and there from a visual perspective that perhaps could be a bit better? Yes, but overall I feel like the games match up relatively well to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's base tracks. It's close enough, and I'm still really enjoying a lot of the designs. Some are better than others. The tour tracks seem to be pretty strong, and then like the 3DS mushroom track is okay. But overall, I'm enjoying them a lot, and they are a nice addition to the tracks we already have, and with all the other Grand Prix that will be coming, the 40 more additional tracks, there's certainly going to be a nice, really good roster there. And as I've been enjoying these tracks, something that sort of occurred to me would be, wow, it would be really nice if I could pick and choose different tracks from different Grand Prix and put them together for my own particular special Grand Prix. Now some of you may respond, well, you could just create a versus room and basically choose your own tracks, choose your own Grand Prix. You do have those options to an extent here, but what I want, and what I think they could do that wouldn't really be that much of a stretch, would be to actually add some default options here. Imagine that you could just have a pre-selected Grand Prix, and not necessarily 4 tracks, maybe 6 or more. 6 would be interesting because it'd be similar to F-Zero. And maybe also they could have the other options, like for example, choosing what sorts of items you could have. Maybe they could even go beyond the customization options that are already in Versus and make it more comparable to Smash Brothers. That might not fall under free DLC update sort of range, but you know, maybe, right? But either way, giving us the customization options that we already have in Versus, but allowing us to create certain default Grand Prix that we can get to, and not just have to choose every single time, will be really cool. And when you think about it, there's going to be so many tracks in Mario Kart that you could go with different sort of themes. For example, imagine Wario's Mine and Choco's Mountain. There's already a bit of a theme kind of going on there, right? So with mining and crystals and things of that nature, so imagine building out an entire Grand Prix that goes along that kind of theme. And maybe you could even name it. Maybe you could even pick from a selection of icons to sort of match to that. Maybe you could even customize that a little bit. There are things they could do that wouldn't be such a huge upgrade that could perhaps fall under free territory. Now customizing to that extent where you could create the own image, maybe that would be, but at least creating a name for a Grand Prix that has particular tracks that you selected from the entire roster, I don't think that's too much of a stretch. And continuing on this train of thought of creating your own sort of preset Grand Prix, imagine if you could also change the amount of laps. The N64 remake of Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8 is awesome, but is also pretty short because it's just one lap divided into 3 sections. What if you can make it in an additional lap? Or basically with any of the shorter tracks, what if you could just add an additional lap? Or for some of the longer ones, maybe subtract a lap. Give you more customization for creating your own particular special Grand Prix that you have in mind. But going beyond being able to create your own preset Grand Prix that you can select from, something else that I think might be even more of an important update would be to create default control options. Because whenever I go in to play multiplayer with my friends or family, beyond just me, anyone else has to take off the defaulted casualized assistance options like the turn assist and the motion controls and always moving forward, you should be able to pick it to be not defaulted to that. There should be the default of not having the casual driving assist options. It's something that's always bothered me because every time I have someone to come play Mario Kart, I have to say, hey, make sure to turn this off, make sure to turn this off, unless you really want to have all those assistance options. It's always been a minor gripe with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that we've had to deal with since it came out back in 2017, and now that all this DLC is coming out, perhaps Nintendo will pay closer attention to some of the littler things in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and actually improve upon them. So if there's nothing else that we get in terms of free DLC updates for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this is the one thing I really crave for. Change the default options, or at least give us the option to change the default options. That would be greatly appreciated. Another potential free update they could do for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is patching up the visuals a little bit. I think the visuals are great, but with the most recent Grand Prix, yes, there are some things that don't quite match up. Maybe they can go back and patch in a few more textures or rework a few of those simpler assets that seem to have been ripped straight out of Mario Kart Tour. I don't know if they'll do it, but they did improve upon things quite a bit from when they initially showed things off with the first trailer during the Nintendo Direct. So maybe this team will have an ongoing developmental effort with not just the upcoming Grand Prix, but even with the ones that are already available. Fingers crossed. And then going beyond all those potential free updates they could do, something that might not be free, but could also be free depending on how they're feeling, is perhaps giving us a few more characters and vehicle options. There's a number of things that have been added to Mario Kart Tour, but what about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Not that much by comparison. Maybe they could give us a few more characters, like Pauline for example, or a few more vehicles. That would be nice to see, and I'd even be willing to pay for that depending on the packaging options, but adding a handful might not be that much of a stretch to expect as free DLC. It really wouldn't shock me since we're going to be getting all these Grand Prix between now and the end of 2023, so, you know, Mario Kart's going to have a lot more attention on it, so they may be doing a few little different things like this. And even if we don't get characters or vehicles, maybe we could at least get some additional costume options. Mario Kart Tour had a number of different costume options, and we've seen a very small amount in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like for example with Link. You have the original Link for Mario Kart 8, and then you have the Breath of the Wild version. Maybe they could do something like that for the different characters. That would be nice to see. I don't think it would be that much of a significant stretch. And all these things are just little niceties that I think could improve the overall Mario Kart 8 Deluxe experience alongside the Booster Course Pass. Will it happen? That remains to be seen, but I think there's a decent chance some of these things could occur. Do you guys agree, or do you have any other sort of ideas for free DLC updates for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.